I showed them, and the commission, of course, wasn't that much, but I was so grateful that I had somebody come into the office and trust me. She's like, I can't believe that you couldn't have made that much money on this house. I mean, it only cost us $1,500, and you're giving me a gift. And she was crying, and then I started to cry. Oh, it was the greatest thing. It was the best thing. $8,000 the first year, and then the second year was like $12,000. And the third year, every year got more and more and more until now we're into like the 8 millions. And how can you serve your clients if you can't show them, go up and down stairs to show them a house or whatever, and walk up and down hills, the properties, some of these properties, you gotta walk a steep incline down to the water, then you gotta get back up that hill.
There are over 1.5 million real estate agents in the US. 87% of agents fail within the first 5 years. I sit down with the top percentile of agents that are killing it in this market right now. We're here to showcase, explain, and most importantly, decode the secrets that have propelled them to the top. What fuels their success? How are they turning their dreams into reality? Get ready, buckle up. This is the Agents with Grit podcast.
Okay, hey everybody. So we have Jennifer Labb. You prefer Jen.
Yeah, Jennifer, Jen, but just not Jenny.
No Jenny?
No.
Whenever I hear Jenny, I think of that movie with Run, Forrest, Run. What is it? Where he says it, Jenny?
Yes, Jenny. Yes, I remember that. Yes,
Yeah.
that was a great movie. That was great.
So it's awesome to meet you, Jen. Just to kind of give a quick stat line about you. So you've been in the business, you said 11 years now, and last year wasn't your greatest year. It was a somewhat slower year, but it's still very impressive. In the last 12 months, you did 12 closings, which is awesome.
Yes.
And we're in Michigan, right? You focus mostly out of, is it Fenton area, or can you kind of talk about that?
Yes, we do Fenton area, which is Genesee County, and we also do Livingston County and Oakland County primarily, but we work everywhere from Bay City to downriver.
Amazing. Okay. Awesome. So you've gone all across Michigan, and talk to me a little bit about year one in the business. Like, what did it look like for Jen Labb?
Year one was slim. I remember it took 6, 7, 8 months before my first closing. It took so much, but I was working. I was there. I was in the office. I was doing it. I was farming, and I picked a neighborhood to farm already. I was knocking on doors. I was making calls, showing houses. I was doing everything. And my first closing was a house in Flint. And it was, the house cost was $1,500.
Wow.
This lady was not wanting to rent anymore. She was tired of renting, and she and her husband wanted to look at houses in Flint in that price range. And I showed them, during the day. I showed them, and the commission, of course, wasn't that much, but I was so grateful that I had somebody come into the office and trust me. And that we closed, and I presented a gift card, a Home Depot gift card, and this lady cried. She's like, I can't believe that you couldn't have made that much money on this house. I mean, it only cost us $1,500, and you're giving me a gift. And she was crying, and then I started to cry. Oh, it was the greatest thing. It was the best thing. Yes. So that was the first year. I think I made $8,000 the first year. And then the second year was like $12,000. And, the third year, every year got more and more and more until, now we're into like the 8 millions. So, but
Amazing.
Consistency is key.
Yeah. So that first year, I want to dive into it, because 8 months, right? What drove you? What was in your motor that like kept you going?
honestly, God, because my neighbor, Marianne Tremaine, recruited me. She lived across the street from me and she founded the company Tremaine Real Estate, and we've been in business for over 30 years. And I was a belly dancer. I was a belly, I did belly dancing for 20 years. And then I decided, oh, I'm going to try massage therapy. And I was in massage therapy for 2 years. And then
Mhm.
Marianne Tremaine came knocking on my door and she's like, you know, you would be really good in real estate. And I was like, well, I just started a new career. I don't want to start something and then stop and not succeed again. I got to know. So I prayed about it and I'm like, God, you know what? I need to know. I need to know. And this is after Marianne came knocking on my door 2, 3 times. I need to know. I need a clear answer. I need it to be crystal clear. I need it to be like served up on a silver platter. So Marianne comes knocking on my door again. She's like, I said, come on in, sit down. She's like, no, no, no. I don't know what it is, but I think God sent me. And I was like, okay, I'm going to switch gears. This is the thing. This is what I'm doing. And I know I'm meant to be here. So that's what kept me going.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. So you weren't sure what direction you were going to go, and you had Mary. How long were you guys neighbors for? Or did
For
you have a
years.
relationship? Or
Yeah. I mean, she lived right across the street from me and she had a dog, Pepper. And she would walk that dog every day. And I had a daughter, and my daughter was very young, and I would get her out on our little, tricycle or whatever. And we lived on a little cul-de-sac. So we would see each other every day frequently.
and it just led you into that business, and you put faith into. Can you talk about? You mentioned farming. Like what did it look like the first 8 months? What were you doing?
Okay, so that led to my next deal. My daughter went to Holly Academy, and there was a neighborhood over there, Riverside, and oh, that's funny. We're on Riverside, and it was called Riverside. That's interesting. Well, anyway, this neighborhood had a high turnover rate, so people would live there 3, 5 years, and they would move, and they would move, and they would move. I mean, it was just constant, and I was like, that would be a great neighborhood to farm. So there were like maybe 250 houses on one side, 250 houses on the other side. So I would send postcards. I sent postcards to all of those people. Postcards. I tried to send something that was valuable, something like, oh, what to do in the spring cleaning, and a list of stuff to do. How
Hmm.
to get your house ready to sell, a list of stuff to do. I wanted to send them something that they would keep and not just throw away. Like, oh, I could use this, and then they know who to call. And then I followed that up with, I love to hit them from different angles. So I followed that up with knocking on doors. I'm like, I just sent out postcards. When they see my face, they're going to recognize me. They'll know who I am. I started knocking on doors. Sure enough, somebody called me and they said, listen, this was great. This was like, oh my gosh, this really boosted my ego. So I was still new. And they said, okay, we have this house that we want to sell in Fenton, and that's in Holly, and I live in Fenton. I'm like, this is great. So they called me from my postcard and they said, I saw you knocking on doors and you didn't make it to my house yet, but I saw you across the street. And I meant to call you, so I had the postcard and I called you, so it worked. It worked. I get to that house. It's a little house. It was worth, I think, oh my gosh, $60,000 at the time,
Hmm.
and I can't remember exactly how much it was. But whatever I estimated, they thought it was worth more and they stuck to it. And I said, well, listen, it's going to sit on the market if we don't price it right. They said, it's okay. We have time. We already have our new house in Holly that's been vacant for 3 years now. So we just want to sell it. It took a little bit longer, but we did sell it at the price they wanted to sell it at. But I wanted to backtrack and tell you, when I walked into that house and this couple was there to meet me, I walked in there and I was like a celebrity. I was like, why I feel like they're acting like they know me. And I've never met them before, but they felt like they knew me because they saw me knocking on the door. They saw my face every month in their mailbox. And they acted like they knew it was a done deal. I didn't even have to give them a spiel, I didn't have to give them the whole listing presentation, but I did, I did the presentation, but they were all ready to sign, it was great. So that was my next one.
That's an amazing turnaround, right? That I'm sure. I wonder if they would have called if they didn't see you in the neighborhood knocking doors,
Right.
because I'm sure that made it feel a lot more, I guess, tangible. Like, hey, this person's like real. This isn't, like sometimes when I just celebrities, right, or somebody you see on TV and you actually see them in person, like
Right.
they're real. But
And then I want to follow that up with consistency, keeping in touch. Okay, so then now they're a client. So then we put them in like the past client list, and we stay in touch. Every Christmas, we send them a card. Every so often, we might leave a little gift bag on their doorstep, with a little something. And it's just to keep top of mind. So after that, they had another house when their brother moved or something like that. They had another house. It was actually their family home that the brothers grew up in. And they had that home for sale too. So they called us again.
mhm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, all from a postcard, right? That's when it originally started. How many postcards did you send, or how long was it until you got the call from them, for if you remember?
So if I said, okay, so now I'm just backtracking. If it was 6 or 8 months before I even got anything, when did I start the postcards though? When did I start them right off the bat? I'm trying to remember. Probably 3 months into it. It was, 6 or 8 months before they had to see my face 6 or 8 times and then see me knocking on the door. Yeah.
Wow, was that many? Okay.
It
So
was, yeah.
right when you started with the group, you started sending out direct mail. That was one of your first forms of marketing to help your business grow.
Yes. And calling, the people that
Uh-huh.
that was hard. That was tough because it's like, I would almost feel more comfortable calling a stranger than calling everybody I know. Hey, I'm new. I don't know what I'm doing, but please use me.
Oh, that's
So
great.
what the people really appreciated was work ethic. When they see you out there hustling, they appreciate that.
hmm And talk to me about the next steps here, because you close that deal. And is this marketing that you continue to do? If you could take me towards the upward trajectory of where you are today, like how did that build?
Okay, yes. It's okay. So we use a program called Trello. Have you ever heard of it? Trello?
I'm not familiar with it. No.
Okay, so it's like an organizing program. It's almost like bulletin boards, and you have cards, and you have um you have like categories. So you can have, so for the month of July, we'll just put in a bunch of people that we want to stay in touch with for July. And each month we pick different people to stay in touch with.
hmm
So these people we've gathered through, oh my gosh, we tried just so many different angles. I don't know where you even start. I mean, you can just get phone numbers from the phone book, but I used RedX, like the RedX, it's a
It's a data provider.
service. Yeah, it's a service that links, it gives you phone numbers that are associated with a neighborhood. So you can pick a neighborhood and call the whole neighborhood. And then what we do is anybody who's nice or receptive, we keep their number,
You
like,
add them
hey,
on.
if you're thinking of selling in the next 10 years, you know, please consider us or whatever. And then you have a conversation. Then you find out if somebody's going to sell next month, next year, 5 years, 10 years, and you stay in touch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to go through maybe 100 calls just to get one person. And then but then you start gathering these people, and then all of a sudden you have so many people to call and follow up with. It
hmm
just accumulates.
Yeah. So are you sending the Christmas cards and the Happy New Year? That is that part of the software that you guys are using?
We stay in touch with them that way. So we'll just go through just constantly rotating it and just keep going and then adding and taking people out too.
Hmm. Okay. So the networking was huge then, huh? You were pounding the pavement. You were obviously doing the work, and like what did you see that was like, hey, like why continue to do this? Like what because after 8 months, it's a bit you did pick up one client. Did that completely reinvigorate you and it was like, hey, I can do this? Or who
Every
yeah,
time you get a new client or every time you have a closing, you get reinvigorated. And it's a vicious cycle. Then you get frustrated again and you think, just when you're about to quit, you get something great
mm-hmm,
and you keep going because it's nice to have the flexibility, especially when you have children,
mm-hmm.
so that you can be there for their events and be flexible when they need you.
Yeah, 100%. And I know right now your daughter and you have a partner as well that's working with you. Can you kind of talk to me about that? Like what's it been like with them on board?
Okay, so I want to say maybe 3 years into it, another agent came into the office and started working, and her name is Emily Albright, and she's my business partner now. And my mom was dying and she had cancer, and I was her caregiver. So I would take her to all of her chemotherapy appointments, among other things, all kinds of appointments. And usually, they're down like in Ann Arbor and that kind of thing. It got progressively more challenging to care for my mom, and she's gone now. She passed away in 2018, but when it got difficult and I couldn't make it to a listing appointment, I asked Emily to go for me because you can't say no. And if you say no, they'll just go and find somebody else. So I said, we'll just partner on this one. So I thought it was just going to be one deal that we partnered on and split it 50-50.
Hmm.
And then because there's something about momentum. That's when I started to build the momentum. And I'm like, listen, I can't stop the momentum because then I'm going to start all over again 8 months without a deal. So I asked Emily to do the one deal, and then it became like, wait, this is great, when somebody has your back. And if you split it 50-50, if you split everything 50-50, then they have as much skin in the game as you, and they are as invested as you, and they want the deals to close as much as you. So it really works with us because we're both givers and we both kind of want to do more than the other person rather than take more from the other person. So we're always trying to outdo each other. So we never fight about, hey, I do more work than you or anything like that. And she has a daughter too, so she'll have her doctor's appointments or whatever, and then I can go. If somebody's on vacation, the other person can hold down the fort. There's always somebody caring for the clients. If there's a difficult client and it's just emotionally, sometimes you get people who can be draining, but you still want to serve them. You still want to be your best. You don't want
Hmm.
to, not serve them well. So we might ask the other one to take over at that point.
Right. Personalities are different, huh? And you may handle somebody a little bit better than you might have them a little more patience or that particular day. I know I got two kids, so I get it. Some days are harder than others, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm sure with like accountability, like you guys don't want to let each other down or fail, right? I know just speaking from just fitness and exercise, I now have a workout partner that I've been working out with for the last 3 months, and we hold each other accountable, right? We consistently go to the gym together, and while we're there, in a way, we're pushing each other, right, to make sure we finish 3 sets or we lift a certain amount of weight and continue to just grow. And I think it's just helped us get stronger, but also just consistency. I know, like, I wouldn't be as quick to go to the gym. I'd be in my head saying, "Hey, I'm gonna skip today. I'm gonna do
Never
something
mind. Yeah,
else."
I know, especially the holidays. I can relate to that because, as a matter of fact, we had a coach, our broker, financed coaching for us, and I can't remember that coach's name. But the first thing he said to us, the number one thing that you need to do is take care of your health. Your health is your number one priority because without it, you have nothing else. So when he told us that, I made it my priority. And I can relate because I want to say April, first week of April will be 2 years since I started working out consistently. I went in that gym and I got partners. I got like a group that holds me accountable. And we have a trainer that trains us as a group together. I lost 40 pounds.
Oh,
40
amazing!
pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. I just gained maybe 8 back, but we can get back on track.
Hard with
That was the
Halloween, Christmas.
It starts on Halloween, yes. And
Yeah.
then the church wants you to make 7 dozen cookies. And how can you make 7 dozen cookies without testing the batter
Yeah,
or
you got to try them out.
cookies? So yeah, 40 pounds. And then not only that, my energy is better. I can get up and down the stairs, carry the groceries. I mean, I'm more functional. I can function better.
Hmm.
I mean, and I'm 56 now. I'll be 57 in August, and the bones, you start losing muscle mass and bone density when you get, I don't know, it starts in your 30s, I think. And how can you serve your clients if you can't show them, go up and down the stairs to show them a house or whatever, and walk up and down hills, the properties, some of these properties, you got to walk a steep incline down to the water, and then you got to get back up that hill, all the while having a conversation.
Hmm. Yeah, you're so right. And I noticed that because I saw on Instagram you posted that you deadlifted, I think it was like 225 pounds.
No,
Was it more?
it was 210. I just did 215. I just did 215 4 times. I tried 220 for the last 3 months and I could not budge that thing for whatever reason, but I keep trying. 220 is like my nemesis.
Yeah. Well, I had to kind of do that fitness relationship because I know, like, from experience too, it's really something that makes you feel better. The endorphins are going. Maybe your mood's more consistent. Your conversations are better, and just feeling stronger is just great too. And I can see that it's something that can benefit you just overall. And it sounds like has it kind of helped in business as well? Has it?
It keeps you humble. I mean, you go in there and it's just like, wow, I thought that I could do so much, and now here I am trying the next level or whatever, and it's very humbling. And you just feel, I don't know, I feel more grateful about everything the whole day. It just sets the mood for the whole day.
Hmm. Is it something you do first thing in the morning typically? Is it part of your routine or?
I am up at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Wow.
because I'm just naturally a morning person. I've always been that way. And
Hmm.
I leave the house at 4. So actually, my new thing is getting closer to God. And I read my Bible, even if it's just 15 minutes in the morning. That's my next consistent thing. I'm going to stop. I really don't care what people think, because there's a spiritual warfare going on out there, and people are talking about Satan and like it's the fashionable thing. So I can talk about God, you know what I mean? I think more people should talk about God. So, in the morning, and now this is the new thing for me. So stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. I mean, really? and just start trying to keep up with Jesus, because whether you're Christian or not, he's got a great message to love one another. I mean, it's a great thing. Stop getting sidetracked with the hatred and the jealousy and all the negative emotions, and just be kind to one another. So that's my routine. I get up and I read the Bible, and then I have a little coffee, and I try to have black coffee with maybe some stevia in it, and a little, maybe half a protein bar. And then I go to the gym. I get in the shower. I go in the gym I leave around 4, and I get to the gym. I have asthma, so I warm up on the rowing machine. It helps open up my lungs, and then I stretch, because I never seem to find time to stretch during the day, later in the day or at night. So I like to stretch after I warm up a little bit, get limbered up, and then start warming up, because you can't start lifting 215 pounds. You have to warm up to it. So I start warming up, and then we start the actual workout at usually 5 o'clock. So, and it's a group, and we all support one another.
Yeah, just positive energy from the get-go, right? Your start of your day. And are you working in an office environment? I know you mentioned the Tremaine Group. Do you physically go in? You work from home, or does it vary?
Okay, so I used to work in the office every day, and then I would go to Emily's house, and we would work out of her house. Now, things have shifted a little bit, and I've been working from my house, and she's been working from her house, and then we get together, for office meetings and whatnot. But, I don't know. I'm thinking about going back into the office. I like the structure. I mean, I structure myself at home, but there's still interruptions when you have a child and you have a dog. That dog just sits there staring at you like, I want to go out. Like, I'm like, I just let you out. So I think I might start. I still have my office space there. They kept my space there. I can go whenever I want, and it's a nice window cubicle. It's a corner, so it's like there's windows on both sides, which is really nice. It's a nice space, but there's interruptions there too. There's always interruptions, because there's people coming in and out, and for other agents or whatever.
Yeah, well, the beauty is the flexibility, right? And you've run your business successfully to where you can do what you want, right, with your partner, as long as you're paying the bills and helping clients. That's amazing to see how successful you've been. Like, what would you say is next for you guys as partners? And is there any goals for 2025 that you guys want to accomplish?
I mean, this year was kind of slim. I think it was for everyone. It was because the inventory is so low. We have more builders now, and there's going to be more inventory. I think we'll have a better year. I mean, first and foremost, we want to focus on having a better year than we did last year. And then the next thing will be getting into investments, either fixing and flipping or rentals, but I'm not sure about that, because I've heard nightmares about some tenants and that kind of thing. But somewhere down the line, I think we all need to focus on affordable housing, and then trying to help solve that situation.
Yeah, and is most of your clientele, is it coming from referrals from that pipeline that you've built over the years?
Oh, the other thing is social media. That's, I make videos. Okay, so that's the other thing I do consistently that I learned from Ricky Carruth. Everybody knows who. I don't know
I've heard that name.
Yeah.
I'm on the mortgage end, so I don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Ricky Carruth is out of Alabama, Orange Beach, Alabama. And he started this free coaching, and he called it Zero to Diamond, and he had steps that you would take, and he had videos he makes so much content you can't even consume it all.
Yeah.
Now I think he's charging, but there's still a lot of free content. So one of the things that he said was great that I do every week is a newsletter. Okay, so you take all of those people that you have in your pipeline and you get their emails and you send them a newsletter once a week. And mine happens to be on Wednesdays. His is Wednesdays too. So I try to work on it Monday and Tuesday, put it together, and you keep it simple. You don't want it to be complicated. There's like one or two things on there. Oh, it is mainly to remind them, here I am, I'm out there, I'm still doing my thing. Remember me when you need me. And it helps them to remember. And then, cute little things like today I did a video for I'm going to be putting out tomorrow for trends, and it's decorating like mirror trends. Okay, I mean, it's fun. It can be either entertaining, it can be emotional or educational. This one's just kind of entertaining and a little educational, because people they love to know what the trends are. And this is about mirror trends, like circle round mirrors, wavy mirrors, asymmetrical mirrors, and antique mirrors are making a comeback. Short and sweet, 30 seconds to 60 seconds. You could put it on YouTube and shorts and all the social media channels and pages, and also you email it to your whole database. So that's consistent every week, every Wednesday, 8 o'clock. They get the newsletter. There she is. That's my gal,
Yeah. So they're not going to forget you. Hey, when real estate comes up, I want to buy or sell, or have a friend or family member, they're going to remember, hey, Jen.
Yep.
I just saw Jen on her video about mirrors, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
beautiful. And that clearly that's brought you a lot of success, the Ricky Carruth way. And has it
Yes.
brought some business?
Yes. He has a lot of good tips about what to do. And the whole thing about the circle prospecting with RedX, that service that gives you the phone numbers. It has a dialer. So you just hit start and it starts calling the neighborhood. It'll call like 3 numbers for each household, or 6 numbers, or whatever it is. And it just rings, 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 rings. And then you get somebody and you talk. So you don't have to punch any numbers in.
Mm-hmm.
And so you pick a neighborhood and it starts calling the whole neighborhood. Sometimes people are mean. Sometimes they'll curse at you, and it's like, oh, sorry.
But you've kept going and you've built a name for yourself, right? You're where you are today you didn't give up.
No, it's a constant challenge. It's never ending. It's yeah, never give up. Never give up.
Awesome. Yeah. And Jen, what's your social media? Like what's a good way to find you?
Oh yeah, I don't know what I might call them different things on different. Let me see if I can find. It's probably Jennifer Labb Realtor or something like that on Facebook.
Okay. We can grab it. I know I've been on it, and I can put it in the show notes as well. So if
Yeah.
people have questions, they want to reach out to you, they can definitely get a hold of you.
And then the
Um,
YouTube one is Get Real with Jen and M.
okay.
Yeah.
I love
And
it.
then
Okay.
yeah. And then
Awesome.
Emily Albright is my business partner.
Beautiful. Yeah. So I want to say thank you again. I want to wish you guys the best, you and Emily, the best of luck in 2025. And congratulations on your success. I know you really said it was a down year, but hey, in a way, it was a great year, right? Considering the market.
Yes.
So it's awesome to see, what you've done and where you've obviously come from. I appreciate you sharing your story and kind of talking me through everything, how you weren't sure the direction you were going to go here. And as you mentioned, God played a huge factor into it. And now it's led you to become a very successful businesswoman with Emily, right? And
Yeah.
it's awesome. But I want to thank all our listeners for coming on and listening to Jen, and really Jen sharing everything that she has in terms of her knowledge and her business. And Jen, I want to thank you again, and we'll definitely be in touch.
Thank you so much.